Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Rumble. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin as well, here to talk some Green Bay Packers. Obviously, if you're new here to the channel, feel free to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get warned every time we go live, as we're talking Packers pretty much every day, bringing you all the latest news, notes. During the season, we do post-game shows, we do pre-game shows, we do in-depth analysis. We go through and break down the tape. We talk about what the haters are talking about. We pretty much cover all the bases here at PTA. But, gents, how we doing today? Everybody staying cool out there. This heat wave rolls through the country.
Best we can, right? How you doing over there in western Wisconsin there, Jacob? Is it humid over there too?
It's a bit sticky, a little muggy. I'll tell you what, though. My garden is booming, dude. Things growing faster than you know what? I'm not going to start off the episode with any sort of inappropriate joke because I'm a professional. So I'll dial it back. By the way, where's Emilio? Where's he?
Emilio, Jacob, he's always off on the weekends, man.
You
know how that's how that goes, dude. You know, we tried to push to get him in here and work the weekends, but he's just
how do you get that in his contract?
Well, there is no contract. As a matter of fact, I don't think he has papers, to be honest with you. So there's definitely no contract with the podcast. He comes and goes as he pleases, and that's just the way it is. He just all we could tell Emilio is just look out for Uncle what's his name? Tommy Holman, right? Look out for Uncle Tommy Holman. He's out there on the prowl, Emilio. But now Emilio always spends the weekends with his fiance, soon to be married. I believe that's coming up here real soon. So Congratulations to them. They're an awesome couple. I don't know how he landed such a classy lady as Jordan, but I bet people say the same thing about me and Mandy, but that's the way it goes. So let's do this, man. Let's jump into a topic I'm excited to talk about, and that is the Packers rookies, Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. You guys know there's a lot of expectations that are kind of coming out about these two draft picks, one being in the first round, the other being in the third. I'm going to read a quick little article, kind of give you the hook here, let you know what's going on. And really what we're going to talk about is Packers rookie predictions for 2025. Will Golden and Williams surpass expectations? We've hit on this a little bit. We've had Jacob pull the DraftKings projections and all that stuff, but we're just going to kind of dive into it a little more detail tonight. And let's see what we come away with here. All right, the Green Bay Packers added fear to their offense with first-round pick Matthew Golden's 4.29 40-yard dash speed, reshaping how defenses face Jordan Love. They also drafted Savion Williams, a 6'4", 222-pound hybrid compared to Deebo Samuel. The hop is huge, but what will they do in 2025? We'll use stats, college film, and historical trends to predict their rookie impact. All right, let's break it down here. A new era for the Packers offense. Packers receivers Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and Dontavion Wicks have potential but lack a true game changer. Drafting Matthew Golden 23rd overall signals a shift to dominance. His speed stretches defenses, while third-rounder Savion Williams, a versatile hybrid, creates chaos. With Watson recovering from an ACL tear, these rookies have a chance to shine. The question now, how elite can this offense be? How are we feeling about it, gents? We'll go around the horn here. Once we'll start with you, Jacob. How do you think these two rookies are going to impact before we dive into some of the numbers and projections that we had pulled here for this article?
Sure. I mean, honestly, I don't know how to word it. I don't necessarily know what I feel about Golden just because I honestly wasn't that high on him, if I'm being 100% putting the cards on the table. I didn't honestly think he was going to fall to us, and I didn't think we were going to make that pick. I just didn't think it was going to happen. So it was one of those things where it was kind of surreal. And now that I've looked back at it and actually looked at some of his tape and really seen the guy, he seems to be a very complete receiver. And I think that that's going to do wonders because, you know, since we've not had Devontae Adams, I don't know if you could call anybody that we've had a true X. I mean, I remember on this podcast, even at one point we were arguing whether or not Alan Lazard was going to be our true X. You know what I mean? That's how far we go back, dude. And I think I was one of the guys that said, yeah, probably it could happen. And
this receiving it's tough.
Exactly, Brett. I have a lot of hopes for him. I'm just a little bit maybe muffled in how much excitement I have, because just the way that they usually use rookies in Green Bay is just not letting them burst right out and do their thing. I thought, Edger and Cooper, even a guy like that was so clearly capable. Like he took a while to even see the show. But on offense, I will say one more thing quick, and I'll kick it over to Tim, is that I really am more excited about maybe Savion Williams and what they're going to do with him. I think that they may be keeping him as kind of like an underground kind of, like, I think they may use him more than we're given credit at this moment. And he is a very unique individual. I mean, you watch his TCU tape, there's not much this dude literally can't do. I'm talking quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I mean, shoot, put him at long snapper. Let's save him in a spot on the 53.
Boy, you just got too old for this.
I know.
My God, he's fired up now. Tim, what do you think, man?
I think it's a tale of two receivers. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about, but like, let's be real. You got Savion Williams, who was a receiver that was used as, pretty much everything else the whole time he was playing at TCU. And then you've got Matt Golden, who didn't have a quarterback, most of the tape that we saw of him. So I think it comes down to the fact that we should be excited about them. I think they're both going to contribute in their own ways. And I think they will make an impact as rookies. It's just to what level, are they going to impact this offense? And really, it's all about where they fit in Matt's scheme and what we're trying to do, and how he's able to get them on the field and utilize them. These guys are making the team, right? So we're talking about whittling that receiver room down. I would fully anticipate if they're going to, take roster spots, they're going to take some snaps too. So I think it's just a matter of time, and we just got to see how they develop as pros. I'm kind of leaning towards Jacob's camp here. I'm a little bit slightly more excited about Savion Williams. But I do think Matthew Golden's going to be a star in this league. My big question mark is Savion with that shoulder, that nagging shoulder issue that's been kind of bugging him. Kept him out of the Senior Bowl, and it still is an issue throughout OTA's mini camp. So hopefully,
is he wearing a sling right there, Tim?
Yeah, it looks like it. He's had a harness on for a while. So hopefully that goes away. Maybe it's gone just in time for training camp or something, right? And we can really see him get out there and cut it loose. So a lot to be excited about, though.
Let's go to the chat here. Ed Madden said, Golden is smooth, and I haven't seen him turn on the speed yet. That's the thing. Not many people seen him turn on the speed at Texas, because poor Quinn Ewers he wasn't dropping anything in the bucket. He was leaving it about 6 yards short every single time, right? 2-0 for this says, is that AFAM carrying the towels back there? And then Respect Orange says AFAM's in charge of the jock straps.
Oh, we're going to give him some
2-0 for this says, I was fired up seeing Ed Policy in the Legacy doc, now mentioning Savion at long snapper. Boy, is this real life. Hey, welcome to heaven. And then Ed Madden points out Savion was a quarterback in high school. Will have the FBI. It's a great point, man. I think of people like Julian Edelman, who went on to be a borderline Hall of Fame wide receiver who played quarterback in college, right? For I think it was Kent State, maybe. So
we know Matt's not afraid to dial up a little razzle dazzle, right?
Oh no!
Hopefully it's just not on 4th and 1 or something.
And you guys, you know what? I kind of have to correct myself, because I said they're not going to give a rookie wide receiver that much maybe shot. But I remember back, remember Christian Watson's first snap, Aaron Rodgers long bomb down the right sideline, hits him in the breadbasket. And Christian, unfortunately, drops it. And that was kind of the start of a really rough, career there. And it's interesting. Imagine it. I always think, imagine if he catches that ball, dude.
Oh my God. It's
the hype, the confidence.
Everything that happened for Christian Watson during and after the Cowboys game, where he just went off, that would have happened week 1. Right. And that's what Aaron Rodgers talked about. He was the perfect case study of how one play can completely change the trajectory of somebody's career, for sure. Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat says, I'm excited about Golden for sure. Smooth route runner, can get separation in right off the line. Quarterback's best friend. Amen to that. It says a new era for the Packers offense. The Packers receivers, Christian Watson. We hit that one, didn't we? Yep. The game breaker, Matthew Golden. Let's dive into that. First rounder, Matthew Golden is a deep threat weapon with 4.29 speed, built to blow past defenses. Offensive coordinator Adam Stanovich is thrilled as Golden fills the, quote, Z receiver role, especially with Watson's injury. He's not a high-volume target like Devontae Adams, but a home run hitter for 40-yard bombs. In 2024, Reed, Dobbs, and Wicks saw 72 to 76 targets each. Watson had 53, but he did have a 21.4 yards per catch. Golden's role will yield big yards per reception. So what we're anticipating here is for Matthew Golden to step right into Christian Watson's role at the Z. You're still going to have Jaden Reed playing the F, which is essentially the slot, and then you're going to have Wicks, where you're going to have Romeo Dobbs in the X if he doesn't get traded, right? And then you'll have Wicks rotating in and out of the X and the F as need be. Now, we've seen some of Bo Melton in the slot last year as well when Reed came off the field. So you'll probably to me, it feels like Wicks is next man up for X and slot, and then it goes on to Bo Melton. But Malik Heath may have something to say with that. Now we got Savion Williams, which we'll get to here in just a second. In terms of PFF grades, what you're seeing with Matthew Golden throughout the season, we'll just go week 1 to the playoff loss there to Ohio State. 75, 66, 67, 62, 67, 54, 59, 56, 69, 59. And then listen to this trend right here. He's trending up at the end of the year. 59, 69, 68, 55, 70, 88 at Arizona State, and then a 74 in the playoff game against Ohio State. Now, when you see that PFF grade against Georgia there of a 70.9 in the conference championship down there in the SEC championship, go watch that game. If I were to give you guys one game to say, if you want to see what Matthew Golden can do, big game situation, go watch Texas lose to Georgia in that conference championship and just look how the only thing that was working for Texas was Matthew Golden. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun to watch that game for sure. Now, his season grades, when we're talking about an ascending player coming into the league, starting in 2022 and 2023 with Houston, 65, then he jumps to a 68, and then the year that he transferred to Texas, he jumps all the way to a 74. So you've got a player who's getting better as he enters the league. Let's get to the predictions now. AI predicts Matthew Golden's 2025 rookie season. Targets, 55 to 70 targets, 28 to 40 catches, 550 to 700 yards, 18 to 22 yards per catch, and touchdowns somewhere between the 4 to 6 range. A 620-yard, 5-touchdown season will be solid for a rookie deep threat per analyst. I know we kind of talked about those numbers with DraftKings the other day, Jacob. What do you think about those numbers, man? If he hits 620 yards, 5 touchdowns, man, that sounds like a hell of a rookie season to me.
Yeah. Those honestly feel a little bit south of what I would project him with as well. I really do think like at Ed Madden 2091 says here, that things are changing. Rookies are seeing the field for the Packers. I hope that's the case. And I hope we talk about progress stoppers and certain, things like that in the organization in the past. And I really do think that this year, because we saw maybe a passing of the torch, like in that, like, one, we're not supposed to draft a wide receiver in the first round, right? We're not supposed to draft multiple wide receivers in the first few rounds. And we did both of those things. I don't think they're going to do that just to not let those guys see the field if they feel that they are more ready, willing, able to go out there and perform. And don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing shade on that wide receiver group, because we all have, like, it's a really unbelievably great, talented wide receiver group, but nobody's taking the step forward to be the guy, right? So all of a sudden we got 2 dudes that throw another hat in their mix, and they're like, all right, let's see. To me, honestly, I think the targets is low. I think the catches will be low. I think the yardage will be more over 700. I think underdogs, the thing that we did was 755, if I believe I'm correct. It was 4.5 touchdowns, if I remember correctly. So, that to me is right up there. And the one thing I will say too is, look at Golden. Like, to me, that's just steady Eddie. The guy is always at least putting in I hate saying average effort, but like, he's always going to show up. He's going, what you're going to get from him. Like, there's very few games where he's even below average. To be fair, not great, as far as being elite in certain games, as far as PFF goes, but PFF is not perfect. So I'm excited, man. I have all the hope right now. So
yeah, in terms of comparing his targets, Tim, to what Watson had 53 targets last year, but Watson was a little banged up, right? Now, he played the large majority of the games. People forget that with Christian. Now, was he fully healthy? That's the question. What do you think about these projected numbers here as we talked about? It looks like the final study here said 620 yards, 5 touchdown season. What do you think about that? As Coach Lynn says, if Golden does that, we got us one.
Yes, sir. I agree with Coach and also with Jacob. And to the point about Scoot, I think Matthew Golden's going to prove to be a really good plan until we get Scoot back, from the knee rehab and everything. So my feelings on Matthew Golden are Pretty strong. I mean, what's the most important attribute you can have as a wide receiver? Catch the damn football, right? And
Right.
Matthew Golden catches the football. He's a hands catcher. The fact that he runs incredibly sharp and compressed, condensed routes, doesn't waste a lot of motion, can come out, give you yards after the catch ability. I'm with Jacob. I think he might exceed some of these numbers. I do agree with the AI prediction here. Basically, kind of taking a group of analysts and kind of just breaking down what they think the thresholds are. I would agree. I think if he hits these marks, I think we're in great shape. But I'm with Jacob. I think he might exceed some of those marks, especially if he really finds a groove and a role in this offense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good opportunity for a guy like Matthew Golden as a rookie to come into a Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love led offense. Right. I think he's going to get his touches for sure.
Yeah. Could I just make one more point too? Because like when you look at your season grades there, obviously those first 2 years in Houston, not bad, 65, 68.4. We'd love to see that ascension like you talked about, Clayton. But the fact that he went to Texas after Houston, had almost double the snaps that he'd ever had. Yep. And he succeeded way better. Like a 74 that's a great season.
In the SEC.
That's what I'm saying.
And we still have to remember you guys were talking about this the other night. We have to be a little bit more patient as fans too when it comes to rookies and how they develop. Like, so even if it takes Matt Golden a few weeks to kind of get his groove or his NFL legs under him, I don't want to see fans throwing him under the bus if he struggles here or there. That's part of your development, right? It's tough making that jump from the college game to the pro game sometimes. Some guys do it faster than others, and I think we just got to remain patient as fans for sure.
Definitely. All right, up next, the hybrid weapon, Savion Williams. Third rounder Savion Williams is a Swiss Army knife. At TCU in 2024, he had 60 catches for 611 yards and 6 touchdowns, plus 51 rushes for 322 yards and 6 scores. Competing with Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, and Golden, he'll be a mismatch specialist. Expect jet sweeps, screens, and backfield plays from Matt LaFleur. His physicality after the catch complements Golden's speed. When you look at the PFF grades here, once again, you're seeing a player that played his best football down the stretch of the season here. Okay, let's start at the beginning of the season and just get the PFF grades by week. 63, 84, 58, 68, 59, and this is where it gets good. 61, 67, 71, 79, 82, 87, 58. All right. So again, if you want to pick out a game to go watch, he played 33 total snaps in the game against Arizona at home, 87.2. Go pull the tape on that, watch that game. And then you can also bounce back to the on the road at Baylor. He had 42 snaps and finished with a 79.8 grade there as well. So when you look at his season grades, starting in 2020, 58, 60, 58, then he jumps to a 72, then climbs all the way up to a 78. So once again, you're seeing a player who is ascending, entering the league. Absolutely awesome. When you talk about the prediction, Savion Williams 2025 rookie season targets 25 to 40, 15 to 25 catches, receiving yards somewhere between 180 and 350, receiving touchdowns 2 to 4, rushing attempts 10 to 25, rushing yards somewhere between 60 to 150 with 1 to 2 rushing touchdowns. So your total touchdowns looking like somewhere between 3 and 6 total. This versatility will let him outperform typical third-round expectations. Says the verdict, will they surpass expectations for Golden? A 600-yard, 4 to 5 touchdown season is the benchmark for a 23rd pick. Hitting 700 yards and 6 scores would exceed expectations, especially if his speed opens up the field. I say yes if he stays healthy. For Williams, any production in a crowded receiving room is a win. Over 300 total yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns would surpass expectations for a third rounder, proving his value as a versatile weapon. I say yes. Both are poised to beat the hype. What do you guys think about that? Savion Williams' projection. We'll start with you this time, Tim. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think those numbers reflect the type of player he is, right? You're going to probably see him carrying the football more often than not. So I think 1 to 2 or more rushing touchdowns. Rushing yards comparable to receiving yards. I kind of see that, right? Maybe a little bit more receiving yards than rushing yards, but certainly probably more rushing yards than a few of our other receivers in this offense. Catches, hopefully he breaks that threshold. And the targets, I'd feel great about that that target threshold, right? 25 to 40 in your rookie season. I think that, kind of goes to Ed Madden's point about things changing and, hey, put these rookies out there and let's get them targeted and get them going, enough of this handling them with kid gloves, So I'm excited about him.
Definitely. Ed Madden says, I can see Williams being great over the middle on crossers and slants. He's got the body to absorb that punishment. But again, got to get that shoulder right. Jake, what do you think about these projections here, man?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that honestly, like you just said, is the shoulder to me is very scary because I think the way that Matt LaFleur envisions using a guy like him, I mean, that he's such a Swiss Army knife. Like, that's the perfect description of him. Unfortunately, I know you're not going to like this, Clayton, but I feel like he's going to be the new jet sweep guy, right? He's going to be the new end around guy. He's going to be the guy that Matt LaFleur just loves sending, him running 25 yards to get like 2 yards. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, though. I like his chances of
that's what I'm saying.
A couple arm tackles. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying is I want him to be healthy. I really want him to be the type of player that I honestly do think that I hate using the term gadget guy or whatever. Like, that's not what I want to do. I know Ryan hates that too. Like, you listen to his podcast. He runs great routes. The guy does run great routes. He makes contested catches really well. He catches outside of his body. He's not just a gadget guy. That's not what I'm saying about Savion. I just really do think that Matt LaFleur sees him as being an absolute puzzle piece that he can use in multiple ways.
Yeah. All right. In conclusion here, Golden could hit 700 yards and 6 touchdowns as a deep threat, while Williams might deliver 300-plus all-purpose yards of 3 to 4 scores as a hybrid. These rookies could complete Green Bay's offense. What are your predictions? Drop them below, subscribe, and stay tuned. Go, Pack, go. You can find that full article if you want to go back through the numbers, the grades, and everything. It's over on our Patreon group. Just go to patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. It's the best way to support what we do here at PTA. Let's jump into now a little Jordan Love talk. Gents, this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's start off with a tweet here, first of all. I'd put a tweet out showing all the plays that we're going to cover in Chalk Talk here in just a second. If you guys haven't tuned into one of our Chalk Talk segments, it's going to be coming up after this Jordan Love article breakdown, and then we're going to be diving into basically all 24 of his 20-plus air yard throws. So I'd put a tweet out 4 minutes and 37 seconds of all those throws. And Christian Watson's dad actually quote tweeted it and said, also, don't forget to congratulate Jordan and Ronica on their nuptials today. They are now Mr. and Mrs. Love. Congrats, fam. So Jordan Love is a married man. I'll tell you, man, if you guys have ever heard Ronica in an interview or anything, he's got him one, man. You talking about a top-notch athlete, someone who's just going to – you can just tell they make each other better. You know what I mean? She's constantly trying to pull him out of his shell a little bit, right? And boy, if when they do start reproducing on this earth, they're going to put some world-class athletes out. I'm telling you, because Ronica's a baller in volleyball.
And how awesome to get it done. You're getting married before camp. You get to enjoy your honeymoon and your time, and you come back, and it's time to bring Lombardi home. I love it. Congratulations.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah. All right, so here is the article that's up on our Patreon group. Jordan Love, the underrated MVP contender. It's funny, at the end of the year in 2023, and that's what this article is really going to key in on, he was the best quarterback in the league those last 9 games. Last eight of the last 9 games, if you group the whole 9 in, his numbers were off the charts. So those throws that we just mentioned, you can find them on our Patreon page. They're right there. Everything's edited up, cut up for you. Let's go ahead and jump into the article. It says, what if the best quarterback in the NFL for the back half of the 2023 season wasn't Mahomes, Jackson, or Allen, but a guy with a plus 50,000 MVP odds, ranked 41st in the league? This is Jordan Love's story in Green Bay. Over the last 9 games of 2023, Jordan Love didn't just emerge from Aaron Rodgers' shadow, he cast his own. While media hyped the usual stars, Love delivered one of the most dominant quarterback stretches in recent memory. Stats, film, and results prove he wasn't just a game manager, but a legit MVP contender in his first full season as a starter. The before a franchise in flux, it says the 2023 Packers were a team in transition. Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time MVP, was traded to the Jets, leaving Jordan Love a 2020 first rounder with 3 years on the bench as the starter. With the NFL's youngest receiving core and low expectations, the goal was to evaluate Love. Early on, it was rough. After a 2-5 start, including a 3-interception game against the Raiders, doubts grew. At 3-6, GM Brian Gutekunst called the final 10 games crucial. The pressure was immense. We don't talk about that enough. For the stretch run that he had at the end of the 2023 season, Tim, he had all the weight of the world on his back, dude. Like, he's playing for his career those last 8 games. If he just continues at the rate he was going, he's probably a backup somewhere right now. But what did he do, man? He met that pressure head on and attacked it and had one hell of the ending of the season there.
Oh, yeah. Totally explains the boat race down in Jerry World, right?
Oh, yeah. Fired up. The explosion of statistical surge. Love's turnaround was remarkable. The Packers went 6-2 in their final 8 regular season games, securing a playoff spot in the last 9 games, including the wild card win. Love threw for 2,294 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions with a 112.5 passer rating. That's a 17-game pace of 4,300 yards and 40 touchdowns, MVP territory. He led the league with 9 games of multiple touchdowns and 0 interceptions. From week 9, his PFF passing grade of 90.7 topped the NFL. In the playoffs, he torched the Cowboys, going 16 for 21 for 272 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 157.2 rating in a 48-32 rout. All right.
Belt to ass, baby.
I'm going to need that image, Tim, if you could put that up there, because I think somebody taught him the belt to ass ratio there, and that was head coach Matt LaFleur. It says more than just the numbers, the tape. The film reveals Love's elite play against Detroit on Thanksgiving. He slid in the pocket under pressure, delivering a 30-yard laser to Christian Watson. Versus Kansas City, he froze a safety with his eyes before a no-look touchdown to Romeo Doubs. In the playoffs against Dallas, he stood tall against a 0 blitz, and might I add, completely changed the play at the line of scrimmage and checked to, I think it was it Dontavion Wicks, I think it was, in the playoffs? Yeah, lofting a perfect pass to Dontavion Wicks for a huge gain despite taking a hit. I believe, if I remember correctly, that was our boy Micah Parsons smacking him in the mouth as he stood in there and made that throw. These plays show poise, precision, and arm talent akin to the NFL's best. All right, what flipped the switch? Love's growth, coaching adjustments, and a maturing roster fueled the surge. He cut turnovers dramatically, throwing just 1 interception in the final 8 regular season games. Coach Matt LaFleur simplified reads with more play action and tailored routes to the young receiver's strengths. Players like Jaden Reed and Aaron Jones stepped up, building chemistry with Love. The offense went from stagnant to explosive. And Jacob, we're talking about this because we couldn't see as much play action last year because of the knee. And I'm telling you, when we do the chalk talk here in a second, Jacob, you're going to be able to see if you get to watch it back. I know you got to run here in a minute, but you're going to notice him limping.
I'm going to stick around.
He's limping on every damn play. Yep. And it's amazing how people are saying he's not hurt anymore. Stop using that as an excuse. Like, the dude throws.
Yeah, what do you mean? He picked up another injury because he was playing on a bad leg.
And he throws a pass on the run against Jacksonville. I think he lobs it up to Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft breaks a tackle and takes it like 60 yards. If you watch Jordan, and he's off screen on our Chalk Talk segment, but as he throws that pass, he just face plants on the ground because he cannot put the pressure back on his leg. Dude was a damn animal out there, Jacob.
Yeah, I think that one of and it's unfortunate because there are now all of a sudden, I think it's the internet era, whatever the thing is, that there's a certain sector of Packers fans where they just want to hate on whatever they can hate on. And I feel like that he does not get enough credit because we went from the Iron Man, Brett Favre, obviously. Like, nobody was ever going to take away the fact that that dude's a freaking baller, right? Then we went to Aaron Rodgers, who quietly was the same type of player. Like, I mean, look at my knee. I mean, homie's ready to get some medicine and come right back out on the field, let's say, and absolutely give it everything he had. And Aaron Rodgers played through
my knee.
Exactly. He played through multiple seasons, multiple games where he didn't say I'm injured until the press pestered him into saying, yeah, dude, like, all right, fine, I'm injured. Like, I'm not that healthy. I feel like Jordan Love has played through arguably more, I shouldn't say more, maybe an enough amount of games where the fact where, like, nobody gives a crap if he's hurt, but he's hurt. He's clearly hurt. And nobody's giving him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not saying that, hey, you're like that. You're a third in line of, like, just being an Iron Man. You're doing what you have to do. I think he's quietly put out that confidence to the point where the teammates know that he is that type of player, and they're going to play for him. And I think that he deserves a little more credit in that aspect.
Cheese Mode activated in the chat said he could be a dual threat quarterback, and I think we'll see more of that this year As Ed Madden said, CMA, I agree. He ran much more in 2023. I mean, you're talking about plays where he's diving in the end zone on his freaking head against Minnesota, stretching across the pylon. You did not see that last year. And one of the things we were excited about, listen, when you lose a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, you go from arguably the best thrower of the football in the history of the game to an unproven commodity in Jordan Love. The first thing you think is, okay, what can you gather out positively? What can he do that Aaron can't do? Because there can't be many things. But that one aspect was the RPR game, the run, pass, run option, right? That six-back offense. That was gone last year because week one hurting that knee. So I'm excited to get that back this year for sure. It goes on to say the what if and the future. Love's 9-game stretch, 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a playoff upset puts him in the MVP conversation. He accounted for over 85% of Green Bay's offensive touchdowns. I repeat, 85% of Green Bay's offensive touchdowns, showing his value. While Lamar Jackson earned MVP, Love's run demands recognition. If his late season form is his baseline, he's not just the Packers' future. He's a potential NFL superstar. And the reason we want to point that out, guys, is because last year, again, he's playing banged up. Last year might be the norm. That's possible. I think everybody here is acknowledging that. But also, you've got to take into consideration that the back half of 2023 could be the norm as well when he's healthy. And if that's the case, hell, if it's somewhere in between there, Jordan Love threw for over 30 touchdowns last year. The problem was he had 11 interceptions, right? You clean that up with his receiving core leading the league in drops. If you reduce the drops by a third, just by 33%, let's just say that, right? And Jordan Love is healthy to where he can implement a little more running game into his style of play. And let's say he cuts the interceptions down to 7 or 8. This team is going to win 2 or 3 more games. It's can I
just like that to me is the craziest part is that, dude, he had the youngest wide receiver core for most of his career. He had the most drops from a wide receiver core in this last season. He didn't have the ability to run. He had a groin injury. He had a knee injury. He had all these kinds of things. The dude was still spectacular in certain moments. Like, we need to give him more time, more credit, more like the Jordan Love is a baller. I really do think that he's going to absolutely make us make certain fans, I should say, look like stupid people because of the fact that they're calling him out. The guy like you said, Clayton, he turned it on when the adversity hits him, and he likes it, and he's got ice through his veins. He doesn't give a crap about being a celebrity or whatever the kind of thing is. He's this dude. He's the real deal. We just have to have him in an optimum situation.
I think it's like that clip you shared with us on the group chat, Aaron Rodgers talking about the quarterback position, and, it's really something that you play from the ground up, and it's about your feet and your legs. Yeah. So if you take that into consideration, and I would not be a person, by the way, that would argue, I would unequivocally say that Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thrower of the football ever to walk the face of the earth. 100%. But I will say this, you take Jordan Love's season last year and you take his legs out, and he's not able to play football from the ground up at the quarterback position. Yeah, you're left with, gee, I hope this pocket lasts because I got nowhere to go with the football and I can't run out of here. I think you're going to see a whole different ball game from Jordan. This will be the year. I'm going to take Clayton's statement. I think he's going to start where the 2023 Jordan Love ended. I think he's going to come out guns a-blazing, and we're going to start fast. We're going to start strong. We're going to start well, and it's going to be a hell of a ride this year. This may be the true coming out party for Jordan Love this year.
Yeah, and when you look at his PFF grades in 2023, you could see where the team struggled early, right? And I will mention, when we broke down the tape, something else we do here at PTA, if you're new here, we do Chalk Talk segments after every game, usually by Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll break down the top plays from that game, both good and bad. What happened? Why did it happen? Why did the game turn out the way it did? If it was a win, we'll show you why they won. If it was a loss, we'll show you why they lost, what went awry. The one thing I remember us talking about consistently was he's trying to force the ball to Christian Watson when they struggled early. And then they started spreading the ball around and things really blew up. So going through his PFF grades in 2023, 62, 65, 63, 68, 53. At this point right here in week 5, after that 3-interception game in Vegas, I remember thinking, boy, I don't know. This might not be the dude. Then it's 60, 63, 83, 74, 65, 86 at Detroit, 91 against Kansas City, the reigning Super Bowl champions. Then back down to a 58, 66, then rebound 77, 90, 83, 92 at Dallas. His highest PFF grade on the season was the most pressure-packed game, a playoff game on the road with 100,000 screaming Dallas Cowboy fans down there in the Big D. And he came out and had a 92.5 PFF grade with a 91.8 passer grade. And then, of course, the divisional playoff game against San Francisco, he had a 54, kind of took a step back. You get your first playoff game under your belt. You get your ass kicked on the road in San Fran. I remember watching that game. It wasn't even really a butt kicking. Like, it came down to the wire.
Wow.
I remember watching the game, and Brock Purdy goes out on the field, and he takes them down, and they score. And I'm like, oh, God. And I pulled up the weather app. And I looked at the weather, and I was like, oh, you could see the rain just about to hit. And sure enough, as soon as Jordan Love goes on the field, the rain starts pouring down. Listen, it's not an excuse, but it's like, I remember thinking, all right, if he pulls this off in the weather, we got Brett Favre 2.0. You remember back in the weather days, back in the 90s, when Brett would just go out there and play lights out in bad weather. So there's where you see he finished the season with an 83.6 PFF grade, if I remember correctly.
Real quick, let's not forget in that San Francisco game that he almost did. I mean, we were there. We would all love the late over the middle throwback. I'm sure Jordan would love that throwback as well. But hey, I'd rather go out like that than playing too conservative and you end up playing not to lose instead of playing to win. So I'll take a guy trying to will his team to victory.
Yeah. Now here, let's jump ahead to last year. Here's the PFF grades from 2024. All right. Week 1, he hurts that knee. He scores a 64.6. You would hear people talk about Jordan Love as if he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league last year. Listen to these grades last year. 64, 69, 44 was his lowest game there, week 5 at the LA Rams. Okay. Then he jumps to a 72, 72, 74, 68, 73, 63, 77, 83. On the road in Detroit, he had his highest score of an 83.8. Played his best football on the road in Detroit. Then a 66, 68, 72, 61, and then the 54 on the road in Philly there in the wild card game. So when you look at his season-by-season PFF grades, 2021, he had 62 attempts, right? So I don't even know what his total snaps were, but he only had 70 dropbacks, 36, right? It's like, okay, you just throw that out the window. You don't even know what you really have. 2022, only 21 dropbacks. He jumps to a 78, but you got to think, so it's a small sample size. In 2023, with 689 dropbacks, his PFF grade was an 83.6, and then battling three injuries, one on his nerve damage in his throwing arm where he hit his elbow. He had the hammy issue that was a byproduct of the brace and everything, him trying to battle through the knee injury from week 1. He still had a PFF grade of 75.8. Like, telling you, man, if anything, he proved that he's willing to play through pain and play through an injury and still compete at a pretty high level. If we get back to that 83.6 this year with Josh Jacobs in the backfield, now you got a healthy Marshawn Lloyd who's going to help kind of carry that running back by committee in the number 2 role with Emmanuel Wilson. You got Christian Watson who's looking like he's going to be back early November, but you spend a first-round pick for the first time since 2002 in Matthew Golden that we just broke down a few minutes ago. You got him on the outside. You've got Jaden Reed, who's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the entire league. He had the highest passer rating when targeted of any wide receiver in the league last year. Wow. Think about that. I mean, I'm telling you, you got your F is situated. If you hit on Matthew Golden at Z, he's kind of carrying the water until Christian Watson gets back. You got Steady Eddie Romeo Dobbs playing in the X. If we can get Dontavion Wicks to step back up to his rookie form where he graded out in the 70s, according to PFF his rookie year, sky's the limit. Oh, I didn't even mention Tucker Kraft. Telling you. So yes, I think there is a legit shot that Jordan Love, when we look up halfway through the season, if he's healthy, you're going to be looking up and going, he's in the MVP conversation. And I'm going to tell you the big reason I feel like that is because a man by the name of Matt LaFleur is going to be calling the plays and drawing up this scheme for Jordan Love. So
it's going to be so exciting to see him play with his legs underneath him again.
Yeah.
I think one of the things Jordan always did really well was knowing when it's time to tuck it and run and when not to. When to roll flat, stay behind that line, extend the play, beat him with your arm if you can. If not, I'm going to commit and run the ball. Some guys are run-heavy quarterbacks, right? We see those guys. They get the ball. They're looking to run. Jordan's not that guy. It's like he's a pocket passer with extreme mobility, I guess would be the way to put it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else on Jordan Love before we jump into the tape? We're going to break down a little Jordan Love chalk talk here. Anything
just
else?
Real quick, Ron just was exactly describing what Tim was just talking about. He says Love's metrics struggles can be traced to somewhat to injuries, no legs. Once he gets those legs underneath him, dude, I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. Also, Emilio is texting us in the group chat, and if he has time to text us in the group chat, he should have time to be on the podcast. Is all I'll say.
Get ready to go.
Like one of my parents when I would skip school. Like, you skip school, you ain't going outside and playing, right? You had to stay inside. That was the rule, right? And then by about 11 a.m., they were so sick of me. They're like, get the hell out of here. Go do something. Dad used to say, go steal hubcaps, boys. That's what he always used to say. All right, let's move it along now to some chalk talk, man. Chuck Jaggers, get your booty on the pod. That's right, man. Emilio over there, probably just sitting in his whitey tidies watching cartoons, right?
It's in his race car bed, yeah.
Exactly right.